Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. We're here to honor the memory of residents and family who are no longer on life's pilgrimage with us. It's a time of remembrance of who they were, how we keep their memory in our hearts, and we give thanks for their presence in our lives. We recognize their lives, legacy, and how much each person changes us as we come to know them. We will be remembering the residents who have passed from November 1st of last year till now. And around the room, you see all of the pictures of those who are no longer with us. So we are actually surrounded by loving community and the people we've known. We will also, and something new, we will also remember names that have been put in the Book of Remembrance for us, names of resident family and loved ones, and also team member family and loved ones. We have combined the services this year because we are all one community and we're all in it together. So we'll take a moment, bringing all of ourselves to this space and remember. We remember them as the rising sun and at its going down. We remember them at the blowing of the wind and the chill of winter. We remember them at the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring. We remember them at the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer. We remember them at the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn. We remember them at the beginning of the year and when it ends. And we say together, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live. But they are now a part of us as we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. For as long as we live, they too will live, for they are a part of us, as we remember them. As we remember, let us call to mind those from our past, those for whom we are grateful, to call family and friend. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide. Let yourself be drawn by the stronger pull of that which you truly love. And as we move forward in our lives, we continue our journey. As we remember, we may wonder what our loved ones would say to us today. Do not stand at my grave and weep. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sun on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled light and flight. I am the soft stars that shine at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Each day we are reminded for the fragility of life, but also the resilience and strength of the human spirit. We live in a time of transformation, which offers us an opportunity to see all aspects of life's joys and sorrows. We can learn to live with intentionality. Do not put aside something that needs to be said or engaging in an action that needs to happen. We may be unsure of the future, but we can still live life fully. On joy and sorrow. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is your sorrow unmasked." And the self-same well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filled with your tears. How else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that was burned in the potter's oven? And is it not the lute that soothes your spirit, the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say, "Joy is greater than sorrow," and others say, "Nay, sorrow is the greater." But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily, you are suspended like scales between your joy and sorrow. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balanced. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall. And here we rejoice in our differences, knowing that we are all brothers and sisters, connected in creation. Let us remember all the gifts and uniqueness of those we have known. All of us have a place to lay our hearts. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house there are many dwelling places. If it were not so, would I have told you that I go to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and will take you to myself, so that where I am, there you may be also. And just we all have a place to place our hearts. In life, there's a time for everything, joy and sorrow. Let us remember the ways we all experience life and how our loved ones wish to be remembered and continue to lovingly live in our hearts. For everything there is a season, and a time for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to harvest. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to cry and a time to laugh. And a time to grieve and a time for dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones. a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to quit searching, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time for war and a time for peace. And there truly is a time for every season under heaven. We are in this world and we are meant to live in community, supporting and learning from one another. This is where we find our purpose and life's meaning, together in community. We are not alone. Today we remember all things that have given our life meaning. I am convinced that nothing can ever separate us from God's love. Neither death nor life, neither angels nor demons, neither our fears for today nor our worries about tomorrow. Not even the powers of hell can separate us from God's love. And a moment of reflection. Strange is our situation here on earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose. From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we know, that man is here for the sake of other men. Above all, for those upon whose smile and well-being our own happiness depends, and also for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected by a bond of sympathy. Many times a day I realize how much my own outer and inner life is built upon the favors of my fellow men, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return as much as I have received. So now, let us remember the residents who lived here, whom we have loved and lived in community. And these, remember, are those residents who no longer walk with us and have finished their journey a year ago. Dan Ash, Joan Brown, Doreen Chuck, Dan Colburn, Richard Farrar, Pierce Fong, Tony Giordano, Fritz Gottfeld, Bernard Greenberg, Gwen Gussman, Ruth Hunt, Dorothy Kai, Charles Nauer, Shan Martin, Millicent McKee, Peter Owen, Betty Reinhardt, Dave Sanders, Sue Schutzenberger, Leona Schwab, Steve Smolak, Lois Vermeulen, Robert Visser, Dave Wallace, Terry Wickham, Alice Young. And now we remember the beloved family of our residents and team members. Monica H., Alfredo H., George R., Juan J., Richard G., Ruth H., Karen A., Paula R., Jeanette G., Antonio M., Deirdre A., Maitrein D., Ann D., Janet G., Shelley Y., Scott S., Richard Q., Marge Q., Kathy R., John Joe F., Anthony B. Let us remember the good times that have created beautiful memories, and also the tears and challenges we have shared with those who have left this earthly world. They will always live in our hearts. We live today while remembering how we have been changed by the past, changed by those we have known, those we have loved. Let us open our hearts fully to live each day. Each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters the most. And for me, it's with a bittersweet heart and a great deal of a tender heart that I remember all of these wonderful people of our community. They have changed us, and they have made this place, the Canterbury, a better place. So I smile, and I also feel the pain in my heart, and maybe a few tears. Each person who enters these doors and lives with us, each person who is a resident, each person who is a team member, each family person who comes to visit, they all leave a mark. They leave a piece of their spirit and a legacy that we will always remember. At this time, I would like to share with you a story of life. I first heard this story years ago from a very dear friend of mine, and I truly find it a powerful gift. We do not know the author. Birth and death. A baby lay in the womb, and a voice came saying, "It's time to leave." But the baby said, "I like it where I am." The voice said, "Have you noticed? You're crowded. There's no room left for you to grow." The baby said, "I don't mind. It's all I've known." The voice said, "There is so much more out there." And the baby said, "Like what?" "Like rainbows and music and all kinds of love. Like mountains and rivers and ideas and books." The baby said, "What are those? I don't understand." The voice said, "How could you? You don't know enough, but the time has come." And the child was born into the world, leaving behind the debris it no longer needed. Someday, perhaps very soon, who knows, a voice will come to me. It's time to leave. I'll say, I like it here. It's all I remember. The voice will say, there's so much more. I'll say, like what? What could be better? The voice will say, you don't know enough, or see, or hear, or taste, or love enough to understand. Just trust. It's time to go. And I will be born eternally into his everlasting kingdom, leaving behind the earthly tent I no longer need. And I leave you with blessing and commendation. As we see, we have flowers, and we also have a mourning angel, kind of like us. We are mourning angels, mourning those whom we do not see anymore, but also crying with joy to have known them. You will find a stone, and the stone has certain words on it. So I invite you, when we are done, to take a stone that calls to you. Because our lives are water flowing over the stones of a fountain. Each of us has a unique path to follow and life to experience. We are blessed and thankful to have loved ones to travel with us as companions on the way. May we hold memories of our loved ones near to our hearts, thankful for our fellow sojourners who share life's journey. As we leave this space, made sacred by our presence and reflection, I invite you to choose a meditation stone on which it is a written word for your heart. May we take our hearts, learning from the past, remembering the memories, living in the present with intentionality, and moving towards the future. May you have peace, blessings, and always remember that we are together and you are not alone. Thank you very much for joining me today.